What's going on, guys? Today I'm back with another H.A.T format replay review for you guys. If you're interested in sending in your H.A.T format replays, you can go down to the video description and find all the information on how to send those in. But anyways, the match I have for you today, we have Propker's 2K10, who is going to be on Mermail, versus Sylvan Spieler, who is going to be on Madolche Psychics. It's a really interesting deck that you're just going to have to watch to find out more about it. This was a War League match, and so let's get straight into it. Here, it looks like Propker's 2K10 is going to win the Rock, Paper, Scissors and get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Breakthrough Skill, Soul Charge, Aqua Spirit, Mermail, Abyss Teus, Lind, and on the other side, we see Max C, E-Telly, Psychic Commander, Madolche Magellin, and DD Crow. Kind of interesting to see the Aqua Spirit. From time to time, you do see this in H.A.T format, but for the most part, I feel like a lot of the older builds would play stuff like this, and I've talked about it in the past, but we will see how it actually plays out for them. Here, they will get to draw for turn, getting a copy of Torrential, so, you know, not necessarily the strongest hand, but it definitely isn't the worst. So here they're going to set the Lind and set some back row over to Sylvan, who now gets a copy of E-Telly, so really strong having multiple. They're going to start by normal summoning the Magellin using the effect and adding a copy of Angeli. From here, they're just going to go battle phase and run over the Lind, and then Lind can summon a copy of Pike. Pike effect to discard the Aqua Spear to add a copy of Undyne. From here, in main phase 2, Sylvan's going to activate the E-Telly, summoning a copy of Esper Girl. I don't know if I've actually gone over this on the channel yet, so what this does is when this card, when this removed from play card is special summoned, remove from play the top card of your deck face down. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, add that removed card to your hand. So really kind of a cool card. There's some other Psychic decks in H.A.T format that do play this, but in general, yeah, pretty cool card. So let's see what they can do with it. Here, Prop is going to take a second to think. They say it's good. They're going to get rid of both for a copy of Natria Barkion, because Esper Girl is a level 2 Earth tuner, which is very nice here. After that, they are going to just pass turn here. Propkers gets a copy of Undyne, and they're going to take a second to think. They're going to go Undyne, sending a copy of Dragoons, but that is met with DD Crow, and I feel like I say it every time, but I'm going to keep saying it because people keep getting confused with it. But during H.A.T format, Undyne is sending for cost, and as a result, in this exact scenario, since Sylvan is activating DD Crow to banish the Dragoons, the Dragoons is no longer in the place that it was sent for its trigger effect, so it will not be able to add in this exact situation. My bad, I'm just stumbling on my words today, aren't I? But the Undyne will resolve, and the controller will be added to hand. After that, Teus is going to be activated, discarding the copy of Undyne. And Maxi is going to be chained to that, so Teus is going to be summoned, and Sylvan is going to draw a copy of H.A.T. After that, Teus triggers, and they're going to add a copy of Gund. After that, it looks like they are just passing turn, not being able to walk over that Barkion, and definitely not wanting to play into Max C anymore, even though, you know, they do have the Soul Charge if need be. But anyway, Sylvan draws a copy of Ticket. They're going to activate Ticket, go for a copy of Angeli, activate the H.A.T. H.A.T. is going to shuffle back the Magellin. Ticket is going to trigger to go and special summon a copy of Hootcake, because Angeli is a fairy, so via the Ticket, since they, if you control a face-up fairy-type Madolche monster, you can special summon the monster from the deck in face-up attack position instead of adding it to your hand, so the Hootcake's able to be summoned here, but then the Angeli's going to activate Tributing, and it's going to summon a copy of Messengelato. Messengelato can add another copy of H.A.T, so they are on 2 copies of H.A.T. Some people don't like playing 2, some do. And they're going to go E-Telly to summon the commander from hand. Ooh, so that means that they only are playing the Esper Girl and the commander as their only targets. So here, though, getting a level 3 tuner is pretty good. They're then going to use Hootcake, banishing the Angeli. And Prop is thinking they do have that Torrential. It's like okay because of the H.A.T, but at the same time, Barkion's on board, so they can just like get rid of either of these. So it could be kind of interesting here. Breakthrough Skill is going to be able to be activated, and Barkion is going to trigger, banishing the E-Telly and E-Telly. And so here the Hootcake's going to resolve, and they're going to summon a copy of Mewfew. After that, overlying for a copy of Levier. And here Prop's thinking again, they say it's good, using the Levier to bring back the Angeli into, Tiramisu. And again, thinking that's a tough spot, they're going to use it. Use the effect, trying to return the Angeli and Mewfew, which both will get added to hand via the Chateau, and non-targeting, shuffling the Teus and Pike there. Just adjusting the attack for the Chateau, going battle phase, and taking a lot of damage here. Not looking great for Propkers, who only has 200 left. They draw into a bottomless. They're going to go breakthrough on the Barkion and just scoop it up. Yeah, the hand wasn't great for that. The Soul Charge was now dead because of life points. But here, Propkers will get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Soul Charge, Aqua Spirit, Tidal, Sphere, and Marksman. So again, kind of an awkward hand, but they will get a draw for turn. And on the other side, we see Skullmeister, Madolche Chateau, Magellin, Torrential, and Lance. So again, an okay start from Sylvan here. Obviously having Magellin as a searcher and also having the Chateau, plus some back row is always nice. But anyways, here Propkers is going to draw a copy of Pike. Okay, so that opens up quite a lot of plays here. They're going to summon the Pike, discard the Title to add a copy of Undyne, which they'll have as follow-up. Setting the Sphere here over to Sylvan, who now gets a copy of Meister. Activate Chateau, summons the Magellin, adds a copy of Angeli. Goes battle phase, attacking over the Pike. Don't forget that the Chateau does give the Madolche monsters 500 attack and defense. And then setting some back row, end of main, the Sphere is going to be able to be activated to summon a copy of Lind. And then in end phase, the Sphere is going to blow up and the Lind is going to blow up. Lind attempts to activate, but Skullmeister is activated. This card says, when a card effect is activated in your opponent's graveyard, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and negate that effect. So here being able to negate the Lind is very good. Here Propkers draws into a copy of Solemn Warning. They're going to go summon Undyne and send Dragoons for cost, adding a copy of Controller. Here Dragoons is going to attempt to activate, but the second Skullmeister is going to come down, so that will be negated. And from here, Soul Charge is going to be able to be activated, bringing back the Dragoons, Lind, and Pike. And this is kind of big for Propkers here, going Pike effect, pitching the Marksman as cost, the Torrential is going to be chained to that, and the Lance is going to be chained to that, having the Magellin stay on board here. So everything gets destroyed, but the Pike still resolves, adding a copy of Gund here. And then Lind is going to resolve on a separate chain here, being able to summon a copy of Lead from deck. And then Title is going to activate, banishing 2 to summon. And then they're going to overlay for a copy of Big Eye, just keeping them off of an extra monster so that they can't go into, say, something like a Dweller or go into a copy of the Tiramisu, and then setting the Warning. So it really puts them on kind of a lock in this game state, even though the Torrential was kind of big there. Here, Sylvan draws into a copy of Max C, summons the Angeli. They say it's good, use the effect, and that is going to meet the Solemn Warning. So back over to Prabhu, now gets a copy of Pike. So again, very strong, and this is kind of closing out on the game in terms of damage. So Pike is going to activate, going for discarding Gun to add a copy of Undyne there. Then Gund is going to activate, Max C is chained. Gund is going to bring back the Pike, and Sylvan draws a copy of Angeli. And then from here, Title's activated. Sylvan gets an MST, Title is summoned, and this is enough damage, I'm pretty sure, which it is. So we are moving on into a game number 3. This time, Sylvan will get to start this one out. Opening hand, we see Marksman, Bottomless, Teus, Crow, and Pike. And on the other side, we see Maxi, Magellin, Maxi, Skullmeister, and Messengelato. So kind of monster heavy here. It's like okay, we'll have to see what they draw for turn. Getting a copy of Chalice, so it's like okay, but definitely not ideal. Here they're going to go Magellin to add a copy of Angeli. And just set Chalice, yeah. Over to Prop, who gets a copy of Torrential. They're going to summon Pike, use the effect, discarding the Marksman. Here, Chalice is chained to the Pike, so it's going to negate the Pike, and now there's not a set, so the Marksman can't pop anything either. but on the bright side, now it has a boost and it will, do a little extra damage over this Madolche here. And the Madolche will get shuffled back, and then main phase 2, setting some back row over to Sylvan, who now gets a copy of Madolche again, but this time they're going to start by summoning the Angeli, use the effect, and summon Hootcake, which I could assume the Crow is going to be used here, but and they're not even going to let it get to that. They're just going to straight up bottomless the Hootcake, so keeping them off of monsters yet again, especially now that you saw E-Telly. So even if you were to stop the effect of the Hootcake by banishing the target, if they had something like an E-Telly, there's still the chance that they could E-Telly into the Psychic Commander, go into something like an Invoker, and get another monster out of grave, and then, who knows what the rest of their hand could have been. But anyways, here now, looking at this is pretty interesting, having the Teus plus the Gund here, but nothing else in grave. So here they are going to go Teus, discard the Gund, Maxi is chained to that, Teus is summoned, and Sylvan now draws into a copy of E-Telly, so that is very good. The Teus is going to trigger to add a copy of Lind, summon the Lind, and just push in for a lot of damage here. Very strong, but obviously all the levels are different here, and the Max C's there. Sylvan draws a copy of Hootcake, so they're going to have to put in a lot of work in this exact situation. They're going to summon the Hootcake, and I think they're attempting to use the effect there, which they are. Banishing the Maxi, or targeting the Maxi, I should say, but the Crow is now chained, so there won't be a summon. And here we do see the E-Telly activated for the Psychic Commander, as I had kind of said previously that it was an option. And it looks like they're just actually going to synchro for a Barkion, kind of shutting down this Torrential, as well as, obviously there's no cards in hand, so getting rid of the Lind, it doesn't feel as scary because there's not potential for a discard and then summon like a Pike or something, or like, I guess vice versa, I should say. So here they're just going to kind of run over the Pike, keeping them off of a potential for a copy of 101 or something and passing it over. Here Prop, though, does get a copy of Lind, so they can summon Lind, and they're going to walk it into the Barkion. Maxi is chained, and so here Lind is going to float into a lead, and Sylvan drew a copy of Madolche there. Here, Lead is going to run over the Barkion. They really held out on this Skullmeister, by the way, because Skullmeister can be activated in damage steps, so that is something to kind of note. That hat format, yeah, Meister is a damage step card. A lot of people like to argue with that as well, but it's kind of a known thing for North American rulings and stuff for this time period. But anyways, running in for a lot of damage. And that is it. So Propkers does take it. I definitely think there may have been a position for the Meister to do a little more, but in general, even if the Meister resolved, there was, the second Lind and stuff, so it wasn't like the craziest thing there. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. Comment any questions or videos you want to see in the future. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out. Share this video with your friends. And don't forget to go down to the video description to find out how you can send in your hat format replays. Even if it's a game that you lost, but you felt it was a good match, or anything like that. If the deck you played against seemed kind of cool, feel free to send that in. I'll take a look at anything, even if it wasn't a win necessarily. So again, check that out. And anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.